Senator Elizabeth Warren is our guest this morning. Let's go on the record. She is a progressive power broker on Capitol Hill, but a divided Washington leaves very little room to negotiate. Can Democrats hold their narrow advantage in the 2022 midterms? The senator is here. Let's go on the record.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Welcome to OTR. I'm Ed Harding, along with News Center 5's political reporter Janet Wu. It's great to have you with us this morning. And joining us this morning, as you can see, our guest is the senior senator from Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren. She's a Democrat, as you know. She is the state's senior senator in Washington, D.C., first taking office back in 2013 and 2020. She was a candidate for president. She was a law professor at Harvard, holds degrees from the University of Houston and Rutgers. Senator, thank you for coming. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here with you.
So let's dive right into it. Looks like part one of President Biden's infrastructure plan is a done deal, but part two is sort of stuck in the political quagmire. I guess that's the most polite way of saying it. So how confident are you that we're going to get a vote by Thanksgiving, which is what some of the congressional leaders are talking about?
I think we'll get a vote in the House, but remember, then it has to come back over to the Senate. So we need 2 votes, and whether we can get both of those done by Thanksgiving, I think that's pretty unlikely. I think that second vote's going to be after Thanksgiving.
And are you pretty confident that the president's going to sign part one before part two is passed?
I think he probably will.
So the progressives cannot be that happy about any of this.
Well, you know, I think of it this way, Janet. We always had agreed from the beginning what the overall package was. The pieces were going to move together. Obviously, one piece has gotten pushed ahead of the other, but we still have a deep and abiding commitment to the rest of it. And because that's where we're really going to make the difference that touches so many American families. Child care, home and community-based care, cutting the cost of prescription drugs, and taking the big thwack in the fight against climate change. So we got to do this.
Let's talk about inflation. Is that a big hurdle? And that at least, what, 60% higher than 12 months earlier? And would that kill part two of Build Back Better?
Well, let's first remember a little bit about the overall structure. And that is the reason that we're seeing inflation right now is partly pandemic related with supply chain kinks and so on. But it's also because the economy is recovering much faster than anyone expected. So we've got labor shortages. That always pushes on inflation. We've got supply shortages. Manufacturers can't do the work they want to do or put things on the shelves, and that drives up prices. Now, obviously, that's a problem for families, and it is very much a problem in the short run, something we've got to address. But I think of it with Build Back Better as look at the things that have been the big cost drivers, not measured in weeks, but the ones that are measured in years. The cost of housing, the cost of child care, the cost of health care. These are huge costs for families. And Build Back Better is about pushing back against that, about bringing down the cost of child care dramatically, about putting money into building up the supply of housing, which will help bring down costs. And as I mentioned earlier, negotiating the prices of prescription drugs. So all of this is about bringing down costs for families.
Where do Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema fit into all this? Doesn't everything stop at their doorstep now?
Look, we have the slimmest possible majority in Congress. It is literally not possible to have a smaller one. That means it takes everybody. And we have got to bring every single person along. And that's required some compromise on the part of the rest of us. But I'm hopeful that we are going to get ourselves there. We cannot fail. We just can't.
So things don't stop there.
We just have to get them in.
Push it through.
That's exactly right. And do remember, Senator Manchin and I have worked together on child care, and we have a very strong funding in the bill on child care. He also is a big supporter of my minimum corporate tax for these giants like Amazon, report $10 billion in profits, pay nothing in taxes. Joe Manchin is with Senator Angus King and me. We are the co-sponsors of that. That's in the bill. So there are places we're moving forward. We just got to bring 2 or 3 more issues together and get this plane landed.
Well, speaking of Manchin and Sinema, your billionaire tax plan seems to have a shot with both of them, but not a very important member of your party, fellow Massachusetts Democrat Richie Neal. Are you going to have to persuade the House Ways and Means chairman to jump over to your side on this issue? Are you having fruitful conversations with him about this?
Just so you understand, I've been having conversation with our esteemed senior member of our delegation for a long time over this issue. And I think we both agree that it is important that the wealthiest people in this country pay more than they are paying now. We have worked on different paths for how to get there. I think a millionaires and billionaires tax is the right way to go. And I'm going to keep pushing for that. You know, here's the interesting part right now. It's very important that this package be fully paid for, and it's very important that the majority of that money come from the biggest corporations and the richest individuals. I think that means that until we get the final bottom line ticket number, we're not going to know exactly what is in or out. And do remember, the big advantage to the billionaire corporations piece and the billionaire tax, wealth tax that I've got, is they both raise a lot of revenue and they raise it fast.
But are you, is there any flexibility on your part going his direction, which is raising the rates?
Oh, I'm
for
fine
each
to
and
raise the rates. Oh, don't get me
as
wrong.
opposed to
I'm
your
there.
flat sort of billionaires tax.
It's just that raising the rates, I'm all for raising the rates, but keep in mind, Jeff Bezos declared $83,000 in income last year. That's less than a Boston public school teacher. The billionaires have figured out how to avoid paying taxes. They just never get what the rest of us understand as taxable income. They don't get wage income. And as a result, they sit on this huge pile of wealth, all of the stocks, and then they borrow money to fund these lavish lifestyles, shooting rockets into outer space. I mean, every part of it, without ever paying taxes on it. And that's just fundamentally wrong. So I'm all for raising the rates on income. I think we should raise the rates on the top earners, but that's not going to get at the Jeff Bezos billionaire problem. We need a wealth tax in order for those who are richest among us to pay their fair share.
The tuition-free community college is out of the Build Back Better bill right now. So the question now is, do you have a better chance at convincing the president to cancel student loan debt?
Look,
by how much?
Yeah, you know me on this. I am pushing hard. I want to see us cancel $50,000 in student loan debt. Leader Schumer is also with me on this. Congresswoman Presley has been a great partner. We have made it clear to the president that he has the power to do this. How do I know this? Because President Obama did it, President Trump did it, and President Biden has already done it. They've just done it in different ways and for smaller amounts of money, but they have the power. And here's the thing to keep in mind. This student loan debt is crushing people. Mm-hmm. It is holding back our economy, and it is exacerbating the racial wealth gap in America. This canceling $50,000 of student loan debt is the single most powerful step that the President of the United States could take to help close the racial wealth gap in America.
But realistically, how likely is that to happen?
Hey, look, it could happen with a single signature on a
could,
single
but
piece of paper.
realistically.
But if it happens, probably not until after the first of the year?
You know, I'm not going to push him on the timing on it. I'm just going to keep saying, how about now? How about now? Let's get this done. Because it is so powerfully important.